There comes a time in every curriculum that a student is simply unable to understand a particular lesson. No matter how it's explained, the student doesn't get it. Drills? Painful. What's a parent or educator to do? In my intro video on competence and closure, the 2C's, you have seen that there are 4 outcomes to every lesson. Competency, yes or no? Closure, yes or no? 2 times 2, 4 possible combinations of competency and closure. Every single time your child does a lesson, there will be one of these 4 possible outcomes based on competence and closure. This is the third of the 4-part video series on the 2C's and the 4 learning outcomes. Today's video covers the scenario when a student doesn't have competency, but does have closure on that. I'll show you how to recognize this, the bad outcomes that typically occur, and what you may do instead to generate good outcomes, where children are excited to learn and to perform to their highest level. You might remember Sally's classmate, Ileana, from the intro video. Ileana doesn't like this lesson and simply doesn't get it. The material is simply too advanced for her. If it was chemistry, she'd be like Billy or Sally. But the teacher doesn't know that and wouldn't have the time or perhaps the ability to relate the 2 subjects anyway. Ileana sits through the lesson, not understanding a word, feeling bored and disrespected. There must be a better way. First, let's understand reality. Ileana doesn't get it, and she has closure on that. Arguably, the worst thing we can do is give Ileana practice problems and hope a miracle occurs. Instead, she thinks there's something wrong with her, and all we've done is to lower her self-esteem. This is not the desired outcome. One possibility is that there's a learning style mismatch, and no amount of prodding will change that reality. Another explanation is that the child is simply not developmentally ready for this lesson. Whatever the cause, we recommend saying something like, "I see that you're not developmentally ready. Why don't we put it aside for today and move on to the next lesson? Then we can come back tomorrow or the next day, and maybe you'll be ready then." By the way, we suggest using this language even for 3 and 4-year-olds. In every Shillerlearning book, there's a completed lesson sheet, and it lets you mark when a particular lesson was not completed, along with the date, your initials, and the student's initials. By the way, they love that they get to initial stuff. Now, the child may say, "Great, I'm not ready for this right now, and I don't see how I'm going to be ready tomorrow or the next day either, but I'm happy we can at least move on for now." With Shillerlearning, you can do that because it's not like a ladder with a rung missing and you can't keep climbing. With Shillerlearning, you can move on to subsequent lessons, and soon enough we'll come back to this lesson topic with a different learning style. It's what we do with every lesson topic, whether it's spelling, the area under a circle, grammar, simple multiplication, or even writing a play. Whatever the cause, follow the child and put that lesson aside, marking it as a lesson to revisit later. You and the child have recognized and accepted the reality that doing this lesson right now has no benefit. By all means, continue to revisit that lesson every few days until the child is developmentally ready to absorb it. And in the meantime, they'll get a second, third, and even 4th shot at understanding the material in future lessons that cover those different learning styles. Along the way, be transparent about competence and closure. Ask them, do you have competence with this? It's okay if you don't. Do you have closure? It's okay if you do. As they develop these key abilities, they get better at directing their own learning, which is a skill they will thank you for the rest of their lives. By knowing and recognizing this lesson outcome, and by having your child gain that same ability, you've just removed a key obstacle to the children enjoying their studies and reaching their full potential. And you've avoided, both for yourself and your child, lots of unnecessary stress and angst along the way. In our fourth and final video in this series, we'll explore what happens when a student has neither competency nor closure. Again, what we suggest may be a surprise.